Good morning. Today we can discuss about Mahadevind Govind Ranade. In earlier class we discussed ancient Indian economist and Dadabhai Naoroji's modern Indian economist. Mahadev Govind Ranade is one of the modern Indian economists. He lived during 1842 to 1901. He born in Nasik. He was a judge of Bombay High Court. Nasik is a place at Maharashtra. His common ideas are found in his essay. His famous essay is Indian Political Economy, Rise of Maratha Power, Method and Scope of Political Economy. So, Ranade's famous works are Indian Political Economy, Rise of Maratha Power, Method and Scope of Political Economy. He attached deductive method of classical economists. He believed in doctrine of relativity. He believed in the deductive method used by the classical economists that we have already studied what is deductive and inductive. He emphasized the importance of economic education in promoting the wealth of nation. So he much concentrated upon the promotion of wealth of India. He said that nation's economic education is of far more importance than present gain of individual members as represented by quantity of wealth measured by its value in exchange. Nation's economic education is important to create more wealth for individual members as well as nation also. So he gave more importance for value in exchange also. Then next concept is India's poverty. He believed poverty of India was result of British rule that we know. He expressed the reasons of poverty are too much dependence on agriculture. Our Indian people have more dependence upon agriculture. Industries in India were in backward state owing to their inability to compete with the foreign industries. At the time of the British rule, they exploited Indian resources. So Indians have only small scale industries, cottage industries likewise. Indians cannot compete with foreign industries. Then credit system was highly disorganized and banking facilities were inadequate. At that time, India have no good banking system, banking facilities and a very poor credit system also. Then defective land policy of government. Defective land policy of government. These are the major reasons of the poverty. He suggested some remedies. He opposed laissez-faire policy and state must play an important role in removing poverty and promoting wealth of nation. Actually, he used a deductive method of classical economics, but he completely neglected laissez-faire policy. Government have an important role in removing poverty and promoting wealth of nation. A planned economy is must for establishing welfare state. He opposed free trade because it will hurt Indian industries. So he recommended a policy of protection to Indian industries. He believed that a balanced and planned development of agriculture and commerce was essential for promoting economic development of nation. He favored balanced population. A planned economy is must for establishing welfare state. Planning is must to ensure welfare state. He opposed free trade because it will affect Indian industries badly. So he recommended a policy of protection to Indian industries. He believed that a balanced and planned development of agriculture. Agriculture and commerce trade was essential for promoting economic development of India. Then he advocated changes in land policy to save interest of cultivators. He advocated changes in land policy of the government to save interest of farmers. Then he agreed farmers might be allowed to pay their tax in kind and pleaded for permanent right-to-vary settlement for a minimum period extending from 20 to 30 years. We already studied that permanent settlement system of land revenue, right-to-vary, mahalwari, etc. That we have already studied in the school level also. So he recommended this system should extend from 20 to 30 years. He suggested credit system should reorganize to provide agriculture finance. He suggested credit system should reorganize to provide agriculture finance. So to protect agriculture, credit system should be an accurate one. Then Carve has described him the prophet of liberal India. Carve, one of the Indian economists, he described Mahadev Govind Ranade as the prophet of liberal India. These are the major concept of the Ranade. Next economist is, we have to learn about R.C.Dutt. He lived during 1848 to 1909. He was a Bengali, joined in Indian civil service in 1869. His important books in economics are Economic History of India, Famines in India. He was president of Indian National Congress during 1899. His major economic ideas are, first one, poverty. Chief reason for poverty and famine were British rule. Then resourceless condition of Indian peasants. At that time, Indian farmers have not much good resources for cultivation. Then due to high tax, reason to decline, fall of cottage industries. At that time, British Empire charged high rate of tax. So there is no growth of cottage industries. It is reason to fall. Absence of irrigation, low productivity were affected agriculture. Indian handicrafts were unable to face completion of machine-made goods. Then selfish and unsound financial administrative policy was followed by Britain. Britain ruled India. They exploited all Indian resources. They are totally selfish and they have no scientific financial administration in India. They looted all respect. Then nearly 1/2 of revenue received in India were remitted out of country. 1/2 of the total revenue of India was remitted out of country. It cannot use in India. They are going outside to England. Then he suggested some remedies. Indian cottage industries should be revived for solving problem of unemployment. First suggestion is Indian cottage industries should be more strong for solving the problem of unemployment. Then he recommended for to reduce land tax. Indian revenue should be largely spent in India itself, should not remit out of India. And irrigation facilities should be extended. Indianization of government service. Actually, at that time, only British people are working. Most of the officials are British. So, he recommended Indianization. Indian people should work in government service. Then promotion of industrialization. Next economist is Gokhale. That already you know. 1866 to 1918, he lived that time. Born in Pune, founder of Servants of Indian Society. In 1905, he was elected President of Indian National Congress. His major economic ideas, he was an expert in fiscal economics, public finance, and he was mainly interested in problems finance and fiscal administration in India. He suggested number of reforms in taxation and budgetary policies. He was not in favor of surplus budget. Surplus budget means less expenditure and more revenue. He was not supported surplus budget. Gokhale objected to the practice of using budget surplus for repaying the debt incurred for the construction of railway. At that time, British Empire wanted to India to repay the construction charge of railway, but Gokhale objected this idea. Then, as the railway were commercial undertaking, he thought it should meet its debt commitments from the income and not from the proceeds of taxation. That expense should bear from the income received from the railway, not should collect from through taxation. So, British Empire wanted to charge more tax to recover the expense of the railway, but Gokhale opposed this idea, and he states that can be collected through income of the railway, not through charging much tax. He suggested land revenue, excise, forest might put in provincial list. Province means at that time called province for state. Opium, salt, customs, post, telegraph might be governed to other section. He advocated decentralization of power from center down to village. Powers should be decentralized from center to village also. He opposed increase in salt tax. He suggested certain reforms in land revenue system. In right valley areas, revenue should not be more than 20% of the gross produce, where cultivators paid revenue directly to government. He estimated various kinds of expenditure under the public expenditure. So, he included different types of expenditure among the government expenditure. Then he suggested some measures as public expenditure should not be greater than public revenue. Military expenditure should be cut down to minimum. Then military expenditure of the government should be cut down to minimum level. Then Indianization of civil service, officials should be Indians. Then audit should be made independent, not by British Empire. Then Gokhale made a remarkable contribution to the study of fiscal administration in India. His major contribution to the economics is fiscal administration in India. He realized importance of well-informed public opinion of government policies. He was a political guru of Gandhiji. So, today we discussed modern Indian economists as Mahadev Govind Ranade, R.C.Dutt and Gokhale.